My name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast, and it's obviously not a recap episode, so what might this be?
This is getting another super fan on.
It's another super fan, and in this case, it's Raeesa.
Yes, Baker and super fan.
How are you going, Raeesa?
Hi, how are you guys?
We're wonderful. This is a great pleasure.
Thank you for having me. I am beyond excited.
Me too.
Me three. This is wonderful. So
like you haven't left the shed and there's still colour and excitement in there.
there's still brightness in our lives, and puddings don't exist.
Thank you. We're not supposed to use the P word today.
We'll try to limit our swearing of the P word.
Yes, pudding is a 4-letter word.
Pudding is in this case, pudding is a 4-letter word. So
Perfect.
we have to begin with the fact that you have the greatest bio, as far as I'm concerned, in the history of the show. Because they put up, occupations and everyone. Like you've got dentists and, retiree and science graduate, and you've got health store worker, brackets, former lawyer. So, explain for people who may not necessarily be au fait with it how that worked.
Oh, well, I used to be a lawyer when I lived in South Africa, and like most corporate jobs, which you just get fed up of, I decided, goodbye, law, I can't handle you anymore. And 2 kids came along and life got hectic, and my father-in-law actually owns 3 health food stores in Australia. So it was just easy for me to go in and say, I'll give you a helping hand when I can. And it's the flexi job, and it just worked out for me to go in and shout around, do things.
Plus, then you've got access to all the cool stuff, like kefir milk and
Yes, I do the taste. I love doing the taste testings, especially on all the chocolate, because, I always say I don't have a sweet tooth, I have sweet teeth.
although my only concern is that being in a health food store that there's carob as well, and
Yes. and lots of green tea and matcha.
No, there's not. Raeesa, okay. Pudding are a 4-letter word. So is matcha. And a matcha pudding would be like, okay, so just
Damn! I wish I thought of making matcha pudding. I bet they would have.
I'm glad you didn't.
with an uzu dressing.
No,
uzu syrup on top.
We don't need a uzu syrup on top of a matcha pudding. That's horrible. So anyway, away from puddings then, because I don't want you to mention the M word. So obviously, it must be really exciting to get yourself onto the Great Australian Bakeoff. I mean, it must be, when you first get on there, it must be just amazing to walk into that shed.
Absolutely. It was just unreal. And as I said on the first episode, I literally had to pinch myself because it was crazy. We arrived in Sydney and we filmed the very next day. And when we walked into the shed, the expressions that you saw on our faces were genuine expressions of absolute shock and excitement. And it was beautiful. It's like no place I've ever been. And honestly, I think I said this so many times on the show, when you're standing there in that shed, it's just breathtaking. And I was just in my element. Whether I was baking something correctly or not, I was just enjoying the minute of it.
I'm cracking eggs in the Bakeoff shed.
That's mine addict, though. You know what? I'm messing up this cake in the Bakeoff shed.
Exactly.
Matt Moran is judging me harshly in the Bakeoff shed.
Exactly. I mean, nothing else matters. I was in the shed.
I'm questioning life decisions, but it's okay. I'm in the shed. It's all good.
All good, yeah.
You started out pretty well, too. I mean, you had a pretty decent first week there. Your Madeleines were really good. And that peacock cake,
very pretty.
That was very pretty. And it gave us sort of a bit of an insight into you with regards to the colour.
Thank you. Yes, I know. I'm quite a colourful person. But I must admit, for the technical, I honestly thought that I burnt it and I thought I was going to come last. So it was quite a shock. I came first. So
Frenched it, not burnt it.
It was Frenched. I think that's another bad word, isn't it?
Yes, that's a bad word.
Frenching's a bad word. No, I think that it was really good to see that sort of colour in that peacock cake early on, and it's good to see colour because I mean you can get really sort of hung up in the shed on the idea of doing just methodical bakes that are meeting a brief, and it's good to see because it's baking, so there should be
artistic expression.
There should be personality. Yeah. There should be expression in there. And so
Definitely.
seeing the colour come forward, I think, set you up with a really good launching pad.
I know, but it was horrible to hear a few people or 2 people commented, yuck, I'd never eat blue or green cake. So I was a bit devastated with that.
Well, it sucks to be them, and that's their loss.
And if they didn't like that, then they can just go and eat Stacey's pink cake.
Pink cake, and they can deal with the pink instead.
Thank you.
The thing is, right, is that if someone is authentic to what their creativity is, like, for example, your colours, or Dave's, like, you know, like fine, delicate floral arrangements on his cakes, it's a joy to watch because not everyone needs to be the same.
No.
Otherwise, it's just boring. It's a technical all day, every day, and we need a showstopper here and there.
Oh, thank you. That's true.
Yeah, and it's one of those joys of Bakeoff is that, yes, you have the one thing that everyone has to make the same of, but that's designed to show process and understanding and skill and ability in terms of just pure skills. And then everything else around that is how you apply that to the way that you are in your personal style. And that's what I think everyone at home loves watching, is people sort of, they've all got the same techniques, but they can just sort of take them different places. And I think that's a really important part of...
And what I like about yours is like in trend. Like, I learned a word this week called bougie, which basically means like it's really like OTT, like over the top, but in a good way. So
I have to learn how to even spell that word.
I'm not even game.
That, like, she's like, oh, I'm gonna have a bougie wedding, and I'm like, what is that?
A bougie wedding. Do they mean boozy?
That's what I thought. I'm like, alcohol, or you're gonna boogie, and you've got, you know, it's a 70s theme wedding. No. Look at me, I'm keeping up with the kids' love.
Oh, look at you. You're on fire.
I know. I'll be like on the Twitters and stuff soon.
You'll be on the Twitters. That'll be wonderful.
Yes.
So
MySpace.
I was going to save it till later on and come back to it, but I really can't avoid it much longer. The baklava pull apart.
Oh, the bread cake, yes.
That is my favourite thing that has been baked this year.
Really? Are you serious?
It is by far and away. As you know, people know from the podcast and talking to all the bakers, I've been talking to the bakers this year, and the one request I've made with everyone is just a simple message of, how good really was that baklava pull apart? And everyone, to a person, consistently just kept on telling me, that was amazing. We all ran to Raeesa's bench to get some.
Oh my goodness, thank you. I didn't realize everybody liked it. By that point, I was so exhausted. I was like, just take the bread. I just need sweet.
Just see it ever again.
Bread week was one of those weeks, though. I mean, the focaccia at the start was a bit tricky, and then the scones.
Oh my goodness. Do not talk about the scones. That's another swear word for me.
We can't avoid all of them, Raeesa. So
I know. Sorry, the scones were like little weapons for me. I'm serious. They were terrible. It was disastrous. Oh my word. I don't know what happened. Height of embarrassment.
But it was one of those ones. It's one of those ones with scones, and we've mentioned this when we talked to Emma, because she had a similar sort of issue that you had.
Yes.
You either do them, or there's something that is just, it's a natural ability to do them or not do them.
Yes.
It's
a
learned behavior.
Yes, and I think I told Matt that at the end of it. I was like, I've never, ever been able to do a good scone, ever. And I'd like to think that I'm more accustomed to doing the finer things like tiramisu or a 300-step Maggie beer pie. Give me scones and jam.
That 300-step Maggie beer pie, complete with verges that she hid from everybody else, is kind of, you did those brilliantly. But I mean, with the scones, I mean, what you really needed to do was be a little bit more like Max, who had no idea what he was making.
Exactly. Oh, his were amazing.
That frustrated me. I'm watching it going, Max has no idea, and became third in the technical, and afterwards
blessed by the scone gods.
The scone gods. And then it was like afterwards, when he got to the last challenge, he's like, so I did really well at those scones. And I'm like, you have no idea what you did. Do that again, Max. It was
Oh, Max. He was a lot of fun.
But it was absolutely that bread week, that baklava pull apart. Was that because you really sort of knew you had to produce something for that showstopper?
Yes, absolutely. I had to save myself. I had done terribly with the scones, and I knew I needed to pull out something. And I love baklava. I really do enjoy eating baklava. So I thought, why not? I mean, how bad could it taste? It's just the bread version. So I just winged it.
That just makes you human, because, you know, we all love baklava, I think.
Oh, yeah. A friend of mine makes baklava cheesecake, and it is phenomenal.
Wow, that is amazing. But I have to admit, Maggie beer distinctly told me I do not like baklava. So I
Yeah,
had a
no, I
lot
remember
of pressure.
you ate it. That's one of the few ways I'll eat it.
What does Maggie Beer actually eat? Is
I'm
it
starting
just
to-
butter? Because like she's like,
I'm starting to come to the idea that it's butter and verjuice.
With a little squeeze of lemon.
Yeah, what you've got like a well of flour. What she does is well of flour. She hollows out the middle to make it like an egg, but just pours verjuice and butter in the middle of it, and then sprinkles lemon over it and bakes it. And that's
delicious.
That's the essence of beer.
It goes down at
Stately Beer Manor. That's the main thing that's served at Stately Beer Manor.
That's hilarious.
Now, what I wanted to ask is, I had seen some comments on Facebook about, suggestions that you and Chris should put a show together. So
Yes! That was so funny.
would come from Chris and Raeesa.
That'd be
together.
fascinating.
It would be. We spent a lot of time together in the shed, and I used to call him the cool as cucumber Chris, because he really was. Him and Marcus, for me, I spent lots of time either at the bench in front of them or behind them, and they used to be so wonderful. They were very chilled and calm and just wonderful to be around. And yeah, so I think a Chris and Ray show will go down really well.
Oh, that'd be spectacular. I mean, that'd be spectacular. One of the things that Robert told us about that, and he mentioned it a couple of times, was something similar to what you said. He said about if you were near Marcus or Dave, it was just zen. And
Yeah.
you were just dealing with this like zen-like quality of the two of them, and it helped you feel more calm in the shed. Is that sort of what you found?
Absolutely, because I think Rob and I were alike. Like we got a bit tense or we'd get a bit nervous, and to have people like Dave, Marcus, or Chris around us, it just made a big difference, But on that note, can I quickly say a huge happy birthday, Rob? Because today's his birthday.
Indeed it is. Today is Rob's birthday.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
I wish him a happy birthday from one ginger to another.
I will say happy birthday from me, which is really pretty cool.
Yeah, look, Rob, and we know you're listening.
Yes.
We know you're listening because you're not allowed to listen. You're instructed to on a daily basis.
A klaxon goes off.
A klaxon goes. At home, I believe we've had the alarm installed.
Yes.
So whenever a new episode of the podcast comes up, the alarm goes off and he can't get away from it. So again, happy birthday, Rob. Look, we're even giving you podcast shout outs now.
Exactly.
And it's almost like you've never left the shed.
You were saying that, you like Rob, you were a bit tense and stuff. And I think Claire Hooper said it best, when she said you have the best judging face. Like you just, like we knew exactly what's going on through your brain.
I know, that was crazy. I think that was when they were judging my tarts, because they kept going back and forth and I didn't know what to do. And I give it away. My facial expressions give everything away.
So your career in poker is not going to take off anytime.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, it was one of those things where whenever they'd cut to you during the judging and like everyone else is sitting as stony faced as humanly possible. And then they'd cut to you and you're just emoting the whole time. There's no poker face. You're just sort of like, they're like, these ones I don't quite know. And your head's shaking and you're just like, oh.
Oh, I tell you, memories of that shed. It was happy memories, honestly, no matter what. It was just great fun.
And you got to use a lot of, we talked about a lot of colour, but you used a lot of sort of tropical flavour too, and passion fruit. Not enough passion fruit.
No.
Not enough passion fruit. More passion fruit needed.
Indeed.
Yeah, more passion fruit needed. But I'm surprised that you guys didn't bring up the big blunder, the canned pineapple issue.
Not there yet. It's coming.
But you mentioned
But
it.
now that you've mentioned it, I was going to be nice. I was going to work through loving passion fruit.
But it's interesting that when Liv did it, wasn't a blunder. You did it blunder.
I know, but look, at least I redeemed myself with the fresh Queenslander pineapples for the trifle. So that was my way of saying, okay, cool.
So what I like about this is that Raeesa is bringing up her own foibles.
You know what? I'm not afraid to laugh at myself, which is a good thing.
I was being nice. I was talking about passion fruit. I was easing you into it. No. Let's talk about the fact that I used tin pineapple.
he knows that the best defense is a good offense.
Get on the front.
Exactly.
Get on the front foot before I've got a chance to sort of make any further comment about that. So it's like, yeah, and
Tick, done.
So what was for you your favourite thing that you tried that you'd never made before while you're in there?
Are you talking about technicals or just any of the bakes?
Any bakes? Because I've got we've had a very similar answer from a few bakers. I want to see if yours is the same.
I genuinely enjoyed the Vinoiseries, if that's the way you even pronounce it.
I just call them pastries. I didn't even try.
Do you know what?
I just went 3 types of pastry.
I just called it
3 types of pastry. Do you know what? It was an accomplishment for me because I honestly and truly never in my wildest dreams thought I would be able to pull out 3 dozen pastries ever. So that was quite something for me and I enjoyed doing it. But I must say Chris came to my rescue for that. But I think all those sugar-free and dairy-free treats, that was something for me. I actually enjoyed that week. I know lots of the other bakers didn't, but I did enjoy it.
Star Baker that week. So
That would be why you enjoyed that week.
I did.
after you trying all the good stuff in the health food shop, you're like, oh, I know what will work in this instead of jam.
Yeah, a bit of a one leg up on that one, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Bit of help. What was really interesting, and we'll come back to your Star Baker week in a minute, but that episode, the pastry episode, is where everyone else has sort of said their favourite bake was, of all things. It was the Fraser cake, is the most common bit of feedback that I've got so far.
Yeah, the Fraser cake was absolutely gorgeous. I loved looking at them. Oh my word, beautiful. Except mine was a disaster, so I can't say I quite enjoyed making it.
But the one interesting thing is that for something that is realistically, it looks simple enough. From an outside perspective, it just looks simple enough, although it's complex when you do it. What I found fascinating was that everyone just went, I just loved it. Like, I got through the process and I'm just like, I'll make that again. And so many people have made that again. And like all these other complex things you're thinking of, and they're like, no, Fraser cake.
I know, that was gorgeous. That was absolutely fantastic to make. But I must admit, I did terribly in all of maths technicals. Maggie's were fantastic. I think Michelle and I were very similar. We managed to do Maggie's technicals without any problems. And maths, oh my goodness, they were just,
with maths.
do not give me another math technical,
So
please.
is there anything that you're now like, I will never bake that again, like, ever?
Do you want to know the the jam drops? Never. I'll buy them, but I'll never make jam drops again.
No. That is 100% the most common. I'm never doing that again. And nothing has floored me more in this series.
I know, because we were expecting, honestly and truly, we all looked around and everybody was expecting something like macarons or something that was really difficult. And they gave us bloody jam drops and it was difficult.
It's been amazing. Like, I've not spoken to anyone so far who's gone, I'd make those again in a heartbeat. I love the jam.
Well, why bother? You can walk into Woolies in their
Buy
bakery
them for $4 in the bakery.
Exactly. So I'm never doing jam drops again. Scarred for life.
Who would have thought the humble jam drop is the thing that made everyone go, oh, God, I'm not doing that again.
Oh, you know what I saw? There's a big controversy at the moment between Cornwall and Devon. There's some British Trust place that has advertised their upcoming, like spring in like high tea or whatever. Yeah. And on the front, they've put down the wrong style of scones. They've put cream first, then jam, and that's a no-no. Devon, it's a Devonshire thing, not a Cornwall thing. So like,
ooh, faux pas.
The Cornish tea, people are threatening to withdraw.
You know what they should have done?
What?
They should have just covered it in Devondale butter. Hashtag, you ought to be congratulated. So, there's a plug. We're not sponsored, but there's a plug.
Scones,
Or pumpkin scones, exactly.
Drizzle them in verjuice.
Drizzle them in verjuice, exactly. Verjuice is everything.
And bacon.
Bacon does also save most things as well.
Or as you pointed
out. Your creation of Rob's, I threw some bacon at it.
Yes!
I don't think I've laughed as hard as at anything this series.
Do you know what? We used Rob's line so much, and when I got to that point, it just came out because I couldn't think of anything else more apt to say. And I think the entire shed, everybody was laughing, and I tried to. Oh goodness, it was funny.
It's an environment though that's been that sort of kind and welcoming and funny, though.
Yeah.
I mean, just watching it at home, and it's a consistent thing with the show, is that it looks like a fun environment to be in. So is it as fun as it looks?
Definitely, definitely. I mean, especially in the last episode with Claudia and I and the tea and Chris laughing his head off. We had loads of fun in there. It was amazing. And I think it was also our group. We all just got along and it was a lot of fun. Really, it was. We found ourselves giggling a little bit too much in there.
That's the thing.
Now, were they supportive? Because we were told that it was Ramadan during the time that it was filming for part of it, which meant
Yes.
Taste anything.
I couldn't. That was really, really a challenge for me. So after episode 2, I think the last thing that I could taste was my disgusting focaccia. And after I tasted,
or was it the focaccia made you go, you know what?
I need to fast.
It's for religious purposes.
Yes. So from episode 3 to 8, I was fasting, which means that I could not eat anything or drink anything from sunrise to sunset.
So did people put stuff aside for you to taste later on, or were they just bastards and just ate it all and were like?
No, they were very kind to me. They had stuff which they kept aside for me to taste because I.
So in your really, really, really good week where you were star baker, you didn't get to taste any of your own bakes.
I didn't actually. I think I saved the tart for later. I definitely saved the tart.
So the secret, everybody, is don't taste your bakes.
Oh no, that was definitely tough. So, but I managed it. It was fine. It was fine. They often came to me and said, "So you can't even drink water?" And I was like, "No, I can't drink water, but I'll be okay. I'll be okay."
Yeah, no, good on you. Like that's like they say, oh, women do it in heels, and here you are doing it without bloody food during the day.
Exactly. But it was really interesting as well for, and I never like using the words your journey, but I'm going to use the words your journey. Week 7, the free week, which I've had my say on. The free week, you get Star Baker, you bring it home. It's a great week for you, and the next week it's the bottom and you're out.
I know that was really sad, but at that point it was just 5 of us left in the shed, and we all knew someone has to go, and it was just a matter of who's going to stuff up, and it was me.
No, that was supposed to happen in 2 weeks' time.
And so let's bring up the dreaded P word, shall we? I'm going to do it. So pudding.
Oh no!
Now let me just begin with a brief note here, which is that my father would have put you through because bread and butter pudding is his favourite dessert.
Yeah.
And
Buchanan stamp of approval.
Yeah, and he would have put you through. Again, we've got one of the only sizzlers left in the world, like 5 minutes away from us. And my father used to be okay with us going to Sizzler for no other reason than they served bread and butter pudding.
Really?
So
some people go through the cheese toast. Your dad went for the bread
and butter pudding. That's why he turned up at Sizzlers. So
if only he replaced Matt for that week.
Now, what I have to ask it, and the only way I can ask it is this way: what happened? So how?
Well, I'm gonna go with your theory that the Devondale guys came in and then they just adjusted my oven. And they cranked up the oven when I wasn't looking. Do you know that point when I ran off to the other oven and I told Claire, "Bye, Claire, I need to dash off." That was the point.
I saw this guy in a suit with a suitcase duck into the back of shot. I was sure I saw it. I saw the nozzle go up. Yep.
Yeah.
Done. Sorted.
Yes.
So, but so that Devondale don't necessarily get angry with accusations of tampering.
I was really kidding. Let me just put it out there, guys. I was kidding. It was my fault. I stuffed up, and I have to say on that note, I mean, the other the puddings that week were just absolutely amazing. All of them. Bob's, Chris, Claudia, Dave. My goodness, it was just amazing what they came out with, and it was a matter of I would have put my hand up and said, guys, I deserve to be going home because what they produced was just something absolutely amazing. Just
should have had the South African week, and you could have kicked its butt.
Yes, why did they think of that? And then I would have got the accent correct because my accent was so bad for British.
But with British week, I mean, there was a hell of a lot of royal family and a hell of a lot of Union Jack going on there.
Yes.
I know it's British, but there was a hell of a lot of it.
There's more to Britain, you know. There's Doctor Who, The Bill,
yeah, exactly.
Coronation Street. I'm just going on with the TV shows.
Decades upon decades of colonisation, which we talked about.
Yeah.
I know, but it was beautiful for us when we walked into that shed. It was just gorgeous and bright, and I loved it. I just thought, wow, that's just amazing. They put in so much effort. It's gorgeous.
It looked really cool. And it was probably sort of, again, to get to 5 from the end, 5 bakers at the end there. And this really is this period of time in the show where legitimately it's a toss of the coin when you get into these weeks, in terms of not just between like the two who could possibly go home, but between first and the person going home. There's almost nothing in it.
Yeah.
And it's really close to, like, the week before with desserts with Robert. I thought Robert was really close to,
like a
staying
hot,
in there.
Buddy,
And again, Marcus and Robert the week before had nearly had this thing. So again, it's been, and we've said this all the way along, nobody has gone home through just absolutely stuffing a week.
No.
It's been little bits here and there, a slight tweak on one bake, one bake that's slightly overdone, like with a little bit of the stuff on the top of your
just
bread
going
and butter
from
pudding.
France to Belgium.
Yeah, from the farm, as you put it.
From modern France to
Yes, absolutely. That's true. There's all of the weeks. It was a difficult decision for the judges, I must admit, and it couldn't have been easy for them because everybody just seemed to have come out with beautiful, amazing showstoppers. And I think back, week 1, Robert's amazing doll cake, that was just fantastic. The biscuit challenge with Bob. Claudia's bread was like nothing I had ever tasted. I could not get over the bee sting. That was just beautiful. And the sight of Michelle's Christmas bread, when I think back, oh my goodness, it was just eye candy for me.
Michelle's Christmas bread, which took on a life of its own and was like Christmas.
Yeah, well, it was beautiful. And everybody put so much effort. And I think back to all of the bakes, they were just absolutely amazing. Marcus produced just magical things. He was just so amazing in all of the things he did. And I remember Emma's biscuit puzzle was so cute, and everybody just had their moment to shine, which was wonderful. And that's what I enjoyed most. We were all there in our element, and everyone with the same sort of mindset, and everybody sharing the same passion. It was fantastic.
And everybody jumping in and helping everybody else again too, which is another great hallmark of the show, is when someone needs a hand, someone swoops in and helps out, which is you don't see on most other shows.
No.
Yeah, you don't see it. And Dave helped me with my biscuit because I was just in such a dilemma at the end, always trying to do too much. And you think back to the times when people have helped you or you help them, and it gives you a good feeling inside. And that's what I love so much about Bakeoff, is that the ethos of the show is to help one another and not be nasty, which is fantastic,
That's right, because there was that bake, and I think it was your biscuit showstopper, and you're like, I had X, Y, and Z to do, and here's this beautiful, complete work of art. And you're like, but I didn't get to this, and I didn't get to that. I'm like, oh my God, you've just pulled out like a small, like Picasso here, and you're not satisfied.
It was the tree of life.
That's
yeah.
Which was sensational.
Oh, thank you. You guys are being very sweet to me. Thank you. I'm having a bad week leaving the show. So you guys are wonderful. Thank you.
But it's been one of those, and I think it happened. It was in this week again. Where was it? This week or was it last week when Claudia got to help in the first challenge, and then ran over and helped Rob. It was some desserts.
Yeah.
Went over and helped Robert out, and Rob's like, "Are you sure you got time?" She's like, "Yeah, Dave helped me before, so I'm helping you." So it was a real pay it forward mentality as well, which I
yes, that was really, really wonderful. Honestly, and I must also mention to you guys, having Mal and Claire in the shed. Oh wow, they were amazing. They are an absolute. I don't even know what to call them because they were just wonderful to have there. They created the sense of, I don't know what the word is. I think Bob used this word. They were such a relief to have in the shed. Yeah, those were Bob's words, because they were, and they made us laugh, and they were constantly singing to us, and they used to hand me over little hand warmers because I used to feel cold really easily. And when we used to do the judging, they used to come and sneak over some hand warmers, and they were just wonderful. I miss those girls so much.
The what's it called? The morale booster.
Well, it's one of those things we talked about it when British Bake Off swapped their hosts over for this year.
Yeah.
We talked about the importance of hosts on Bakeoff. It's one of those shows where the hosts really are more important than in almost any other show because they're not just there to link segments and they're not just there to introduce. They're there to sort of be the circuit breaker when you're really stressed and sort of come up with a way to keep you sort of calm and loose, to let the audience know at home what's going on in a way that's fun, to lighten the mood with a bit of a joke, to comfort when you're having. It's a wide range of stuff they've got to be able to do. And they've got to be able to deliver puns like nobody's business.
They're like holistic counselor comedians.
They really are. And I was talking to a few other people about this so far in the last couple of weeks. I think legitimately that this is the best that Mel and Claire have ever been on this show. I think they are in sparkling form.
Absolutely.
This is by far and away their strongest season on the show, not only in terms of the support, but they've been funnier than they've ever been, and just they're feeling it. You can just tell that they know the show and they know what they're doing and they know how to do this.
They know how to use ladles to eat.
They know how to use giant ladles to eat a giant something.
Oh my goodness, that was probably the funniest moment of the show ever.
I mean,
that was such a fun episode.
Up there with Maggie Beer not knowing what she said, but we'll let that go. We'll let that go. We'll slide through. Now, one of the things we've been asking everybody, and it's all going to pay off eventually coming up, but one of the things we've been asking everybody is about the Bakeoff Ashes. Now, we're putting forward this idea. Who knows if they'll ever pick it up? But the idea is 5 Australian bakers, 5 British bakers. Now, what we're looking for is like the last 3 seasons of both to make it fair, right?
Yeah.
Because the British have got 8 seasons worth and we've got 3 seasons. That other one doesn't happen. So we've got 3 seasons. And
Okay.
So it's not fair. So we're going from the Nadia season in the UK and we're going from the first real season in Australia.
The Shan season.
The Shan season.
The Shan season, okay.
So you can pick any 5 bakers.
Wow. That's really, really, really difficult. If you told me to choose 12, without a doubt I'd choose 12. But 5, oh my goodness, that's going to be for sure.
And you can come up with ways to do it, like, and we're going to sort of give our picks in an episode that's going to happen in grand final week, where we're going to talk through a few other Bakeoff fans. We're going to ask them for their opinion.
Yeah.
So you can think tactically in terms of if you were organising them as a team for strengths, or you can just pick 5 favourites.
People you want to hang with.
People you want to hang out with. People whose food you just like to eat.
Oh my goodness, that's torture. Because I mean, if I look at past seasons, oh my word, I absolutely love Sean and Angela. They're just so wonderful. Antonio, Monica, Liesl, oh gosh, they were all absolutely amazing. Antonio definitely would be on my team.
He'd have to be.
And this season, oh my goodness, that's going to be the most difficult decision ever. That's really difficult.
Okay, if you don't want to come up with the Australian team, then come up with the British team.
No, I can't do British. I'd rather do Australian. I don't care what the Brits come with. I want the Aussies to win because I'm going to be there.
See, not to give away my picks, but I've actually picked a really strong English team.
Really?
The Australian team will win, but I didn't want to go in half-hearted. And I wanted to actually make them earn it.
Against the best.
So I've picked a really strong British team for that episode. It's ridiculously strong, actually.
Oh, we're going to thrash them. Come on.
Well, I think so too. But I like people who went out in week 1.
I feel like getting really passionate about a thing that
doesn't exist.
No, we're going to make it happen. We have to make this happen.
I don't know why. It has to happen. You know, if important people are out there listening, this has to happen.
I wonder if we have to meet halfway though. Like if we all have to Hong Kong, South Africa, Dubai.
Dubai. That would be fantastic.
We all meet in the duty-free lounge in Dubai. Temporary kitchens in the middle of the terminal.
Oh, that would be so funny. Oh, no, this is really a hard decision, but oh my word. I'll go with, as you say, they're different bakers for different teams. I mean, if you want to, I'd go Claudia for her and Robert for their amazing flavor combinations, and they're just great. Marcus for some magical work because he's just so good with all those things. Yeah. Just to calm us all down and give us a good laugh. Michelle's so good with flavors and she's such an experienced baker. So I'll have to do a toss-up between all of them and a few others from previous seasons like Antonio, Monica, Liesl. Oh, I'm terrible at choosing a team, but I've given you a few names. I'm throwing a few names at you that I choose.
What I'll do is I'll come back to you.
Now, what you can do is you can get them all in like gladiator style.
And let them
Gladiator
fight it out.
style. And just like,
Well, what I'll do is I'll come back to you before we do our episode on the Ashes, and I'll get a team out of you then. So I'll give you a week.
Okay. Give me a week. Thank you.
Enough time for the gladiator.
And then I'll get you to send. I'll get you to send in a team, and we'll read it out, and we'll say that it's the greatest team we've ever heard of, and regardless of what we picked, that's what we wanted. So that's the ones we would have gone with too. This has been an absolute pleasure. It has been so much fun to get to chat to you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm sorry if I waffle on a little bit too much.
No. This is what we all do. This is the joy of the podcast.
You fit right in. Plus, you're like a ray of sunshine. Like, it's just
a ray of sunshine. Get it?
Ray of Sunshine.
I've got a podcast title now.
Yes, you do.
I've got a podcast title now. This has seriously been wonderful.
And thank you for me.
The audience at home absolutely loved you, and I'm sure that'll come through in the feedback when we put this out and everyone sort of gets to hear it. So thank you very much, Raeesa.
Thank you to both of you. You guys are just incredible, and keep doing these incredible podcasts because we all love it. Thank you.
That's so much fun doing them, so that's not a problem. So until we get to the episode recap for the semi-final of this year's Bakeoff, I'm still Chris.
And I'm still Kristie.
And we will catch you all later.
Ciao.